Welcome to another Gaslec podcast, and thank you very much indeed for listening wherever you are in the world. I'm Sean, and I'll be hosting this episode again. But first of all, here's my friend Sean, which may be me, tell you a little bit about the podcast and why we do it. Thank you for listening to another Gaslec podcast, the show to help DIYers, new people into the industry, and those who are wanting to expand their knowledge. Each week we'll pick a topic and go into details. And with special guests and listeners' questions answered, we will look forward to some of the conversations. So let's get back to the show. Right, thank you very much indeed, guys. So we're going to give another another Amazon £10 gift voucher for listening to the podcast. So I'll give you a little clue during the podcast on the code word, and if you just email that into us, then you'll be put into the draw. So good luck with that. I'm just seeing what the date is today. So I'm recording this on Sunday the 13th, so this will be coming out on Tuesday the 15th at 6 a.m. So we'll make the draw by Tuesday the 22nd. So you've only got the week to do it, the week this comes out. So no entries obviously after that, but the entry email address will be office@Gaslec. Sorry, the entry email address will be podcast@gaslec.net. The other one's obviously the normal one, but we've got a separate account, so we can really make the whole admin side of this a lot easier. So yeah, good. Anyway, so I want to talk about what we've been up to the last week. So we've entered what we teamed as like silly season. So obviously you have your summer stuff, your builds, and people that are being proactive of what they're doing with their boilers and their heating systems. And then we get a lot of reactionary stuff. So we first sort of cold snap of the year coming up for the winter period. We then get a massive wave of phone calls, and we could have 100 phone calls a day. We could have more than that in emails and inquiries that come flooded in from all the different people with their new customers, old customers, and a lot of these can be. If all my little hints and tips over the summer of just turn your heating on just for 10 minutes in the week, 15 minutes, let the heating run around and then turn it back off again. But people don't, they just turn the valves off on the radiators, so they hold the pins down so the radiators then the pins don't come back up. And then the pumps are seized or the three ports don't move over properly because they haven't been moved over all summer. So I was just having a quick look on the jobs for last week. I think we hit 21 boilers that we actually got out to see and repair as a company within the sort of the Medway towns really, and there's a couple of commercial in there as well. So just a couple of tips really for you guys, that you've got your boiler of some description. So combi boiler, the biggest problem we come across is low pressure. So on a sealed heating system, we will get sometimes a natural droppage. So there's an automatic air vent inside the boiler. So if there's any air or hydrogen, if you've got some old dirty water, the byproduct of that is the water breaking down and the hydrogen comes off, which is just like a gas, but we just still call it air, but it could be either or. So if inside the boiler's got an automatic air vent. So when water passes back under and it's got a bubble of air, it'll self vent. It's just above the pump at the back usually, and it'll self vent and it'll just take itself off. And what they also do, if this keeps happening, the water pressure will slightly drop. So on a sealed heating system, you'll be, where's the water going? Must have a leak. What's this? What's that? Sometimes it's just dirty water that's just breaking down. So get familiar on how you top up your heating system. Find your manufacturer's handbook. Some boilers have a built-in filling loop, and this will normally be from the return pipe to the cold water inlet of the boiler. So with some sort of proprietary little hose or a little bit of pipe work that comes across. There'll be a couple of valves. There's usually two valves that you have to sort of turn both on, turn both off type thing. Some boilers don't have that. They have external fin loops. That's like the two valves with the silver sort of flexi hose, and that's typically what you'd find. But always make sure you know where those are and how you top up your heating system. Worcester boilers generally will go down quite low, maybe just a whisker over zero, and they'll still work. You tend to find that the Biassis and your and your Ferolis and stuff, your cheap boilers, even the early Alphas, they might need a bar and a half cold for them to start to work. So they have a little pressure switch inside. So what we see on the gauge is just for us, but internally there'll be a pressure switch, and those pressure switches, if it's not correct pressure, then it won't turn on. So just bear that in mind. Certainly if you've got a cheaper boiler that's a few years old, because they get a little bit crudded up as well, those pressure switches, with a bit of the old dirty water that's flying around inside the system. So just make sure your pressure's topped up on your sealed heating systems like your combi boilers. You can get sort of hybrid systems where you've got unvented water with a system boiler with a gauge on it, and then you might find the filling loops up in the airing cupboard with like an expansion vessel or something. But find out where yours is and then just make a note of it if you need to top it up. So we've had some gravity systems where we've had heating issues. So they've had loads and loads of hot water. It's all working lovely. So predominantly these are done in two ways really. You've got like a Y plan or an S plan. So a Y plan, you use a 3-port valve, which is really, really common. So it comes from the pump into the AB, which is the T part of the Y plan there. Comes into the bottom in the centre and then goes left, right or both. Basically, it comes in on the AB, goes off for A for the central heating, or goes B into the cylinder for the heating up the hot water. And sometimes people say, oh, it's not switching over and we can't get the heating to work. Well, when this happens on a Sunday evening, you can't get hold of anybody and you want the heating to work because everyone's cold. Have a look. You can just Google a 3-port valve and see what it looks like and see if you've got one. And there'll be if it's a Honeywell type, there'll be a lever that you can push over and manually lock it. So you push it down and it sort of just lifts up because it's spring loaded. So what you can do is turn your hot water on and then have the lever pushed over temporarily and locked into place. And then from the hot water demand, that will turn the boiler on. And from the locked over 3-port, that'll make it then go down to the heating circuit. That's only really do that if you've got a working heating system and it's not moving over mechanically on its own, so you can sort of force that over just to see if that works. That's what we do here. So if we've got an issue, we need to pop it over and then just make sure you just get it released and then take it off from there. But if it's just a 3-port valve issue, then that'll take care of it. We've had a few pumps as well this week that have been broken or absolutely full of debris and all the muck in the heating system. And so the two jobs come to mind that we had heating, but we struggled to heat downstairs. And you think, gravity, water falls, but heat rises. So when we had the pump on the ground on the first floor, that first floor was fine. The loft conversion up in the top, that was absolutely toasty. But downstairs, we were struggling to get some heat. And we went round a few times. Maybe it's a bit of this, bit of that. Maybe it's, trapped air or whatever it was. And I took the pump apart and there we are. We've got the impeller was fragile and was breaking up where it's been so old. So when you're getting sort of intermittent radiators and stuff not working properly, it could also be a pump issue. But the pump issue is usually born from dirt in the system. So, the moral of the story here, kids, is try and keep a clean heating system. And if you've got a magnetic filter, just keep on top of the chemicals. You can use that as a dosing point. I'm going to be doing some videos and put them onto the YouTube channel. It's not really suitable for the audio-only platforms, on some little bit of kit we've got hold of, which is a real big time saver. And I really want to show you guys on how it works. And certainly the new people coming into the industry, there's new little bits of gadgetry that are coming on, I'm massively changing the game on it all. So, that's on that. So if you've got a 3-port valve, that's how you can lock it over. If you've got an S plan, it's not that common on S plans because you have two ports. So you have 2 valves instead of the 1 valve. But once again, just Google it and just see what it looks like and see if you've got these. Now, once again, if you've got loads of hot water and no heating, on the Honeywell type, they have a lever that you can just lock over and then just latch it into place. And exactly the same idea demand for the hot water, and then open up the heating, and then the pump will just pump it straight through, because the boiler don't know where it's going, the pump don't know where the water's going. Be honest, it don't really care. So it's just how we manage it from our side. But that may just get you out of a little sticky situation for the evening, and get you some heating on. So the Amazon gift card giveaway. So the code word is going to be, looking for something on my desk here, copper pipe. That's the code word. Email that to us and you'll be put into the draw for a £10 Amazon gift voucher. And so this is going to go out on the 15th of October, and we'll call the draw on the 22nd of October, which is the following Tuesday. So just for that 1 week, email us that in, podcast@gaslec.net, and you'll be in the draw. No problem. So that wraps up another podcast for another week. Check out our main Facebook business page. We're doing some giveaways on there. I'm actually looking at a couple of things here on the desk next to me on what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to get that done this week and get those videos out for some little giveaways for you guys. Probably the same again, sort of like and share the page type thing, the video, whatever I'm going to do. I'm not too sure yet. But so we're doing some more giveaways. We're doing giveaways through the ME7 podcast as well, which is about Gillingham Football Club. So sort of family/football related gifts there. So check them out. I'm not really into football. The people that know me, so, some people have given me a bit of stick for it, saying, "Oh, you don't even like football. What are you sponsoring for?" But it's a local thing, for the Gillingham Football Club. There's a lot of people that listen to it. So from an advertising point of view, it makes a bit of sense that, we're dealing, people that live locally that can use our service, which is great. And they do a great job as well on the podcast. They're so passionate about football and knowing who kicked what ball when and how hard and how high and all the rest of it. So go and check them out at the ME7 podcast, and James and his guests over there. And they have guests of the football players as well onto there, which is pretty cool. So do check them out as well. Okay, guys, I'm going to get these wrapped up. So enter the draw. The code word. Get it emailed over to us. And we'll pick a winner, chicken dinner. Take care, guys. Have a great week. Thank you and goodbye.